Yo, what's up? It's Reptile here. We're here with Mystery Commander Theater 100. I'm playing Thrasios and Silas Renn. This will be the showcase game for the deck tech we just did, and all the decks will be in the description down below on Moxfield. Bad Kitty's here playing Teamer Pirates. It's kind of just pretty standard Tana, Malcolm stuff, and synergistic. Why don't you tell us about yours?
Yeah, I'm playing Absent Reanimator in the Triton mat, very on theme. And I think Archgel is playing Eldrazi with Emrakul for the Promised Land.
Hey, and this I always hear the meme about the squirrels, like 15 squirrels can take down an Emrakul, so it's pretty on theme too. But, here I play a Mirrored and Besieged, just naming the mirror creation one, so.
Yeah, it's pretty explosive start. You and Bad Kitty both have your kind of game plan starting, and then he has a lot of card draw as well.
Yeah, Bad Kitty had to wait a whole turn to get his, but mine came out pretty early. I was glad to start getting some mirrors out and using them as either fodder or just ways to pressure the board once we can buff them.
Yeah.
So, Swiftfoot Boots and Archgel passes. Yeah, right here. You're reading the card, just trying to see what it does. And Mana Crypts get hurt by that, but hopefully, we can have some better luck in the future. So we have a Flooded Strand. They could just go get Underground Sea, I believe. And then...
You play your commander here? Would you? I don't know.
I believe, yeah. I mean, I would, but just because
Silas.
getting them out, Silas Renn. You could also play Thrasios if you really wanted to, because you do have 4 mana. But here, since Silas Renn is an artifact and I had another artifact in hand, just the best use of my mana, and I get 2 mirrors out of it. So casting the artifacts really kind of the game plan I wanted to go with.
Yeah, dude, I mean, that's 8 permanents on the battlefield on your turn too.
Yep, I wish I had some City's Blessing thing. That'd be pretty easy to get.
Yeah.
But Bad Kitty also getting some pretty good card selection here with the Sylvan Library.
Do you generally at the start of the game, do you take the 2 extra cards, or do you only take 1 accordingly, or?
If I it kind of depends on the pot. If I know I'm going to get pressured a lot, like against Kodama and Tymna, usually I try to be a little bit more reserved, but if I have a bad hand, I'll just rip them off the top, try to get the rest. But here you go for a Vampiric Tutor, and I kind of had a feeling of what you were going to get, and you proved me right, unfortunately. So
yeah, I think it's an all-star green card. Absolutely, one of the best ones, especially in this pot too.
Oh yeah, of course, because we're all playing artifacts. So you get the Vampiric Tutor, and I knew this Collector Roof was coming down. Once I saw that, I was like, oh man, at least I have the mirrors that can attack, and Silas Renn has Death Touch. So
look at that beautiful smile.
That's a hellish grin. And Archgel missed a land drop, unfortunately just had a pass, so really can't do much. But Archgel pretty hit by this, because if you're in colorless, a lot of your things are artifacts and mana rocks that are really helping you get to that point. So
yeah, it kind of definitely puts you and him behind. Your Mana Crypt is kind of dead. All the rocks are dead.
Yeah, my Mana Crypt is nothing but a liability at this point. So my Aether Spellbomb can't be activated anymore to draw me cards and really start getting that. I really wanted to show the aspect of being able to use Silas Renn and being able to sack that for 1, draw a card, replay it for 1. So really just tap the Mana Crypt and get a card and get the utility and value off of it, but I think I'm going to have to pivot. So
yeah, you pivot to the Thassa's Oracle, the Moral Consultation, or a different way, or different combo?
So there's nothing that necessarily, there's not an overwhelming amount of things that are stopping my artifacts. There's not like a Manglehorn on the board as well. It's just the Collector Oof. So as long as I can get rid of this Oof at the right time, I believe I'm able to, I can use my artifacts enough to sneak out a win, just because Bolas' Citadel isn't really being activated, and that's one of the main things. So if I can find a chance to use my artifacts to land a Bolas' Citadel, and then if you play the Oof, whatever, it's I have my engine going on. So that was my thought process. But Bad Kitty here deciding to still tutor for Dockside, showing what a powerhouse of a card. Even though there's the counter on the board, you're like, yeah, I'll wait.
What a Chad move.
I don't care about your Oof. But yeah, what's your game plan going here? Now that you have the Collector Oof down, you essentially shut out 2 players. or at least really shut out Archshelly and hindered me from being able to pull my advantage further. What's your game plan?
I think I'm gonna go and try to advance my board via other stacks creatures.
Okay.
So definitely like put those or put my commander down to start drawing some cards. I see you're wide open, and so is Archshelly, so that's 2 free cards right there on my turn when I get to it.
Yeah. Bad Kitty decides to play Tana, and I think that was a misplay on my part. Maybe I should have just held back. I did want to start to put the clock and the pressure on you, because at this point I knew it was going to be a pretty long game, and I wanted to use these mirrors and the death touch to my advantage, but I should have kept up Silas Renn just to dissuade you from being able to swing at the Tymna.
Well, the best creature removals, player removals, so can't
That's
blame
fair,
you
yeah.
for attacking me.
Yeah, I wanted to get that commander damage in. Totally.
And did that
Here
2 damage.
Archshelly missing again. Another land, and a really unlucky turn of events. I think he kept a greedy hand, but here I have an Arkham Daggerson. Thankfully, he is not an artifact, so I'm able to tap him and sacrifice either Silas Renn or the mirror tokens that I'm creating in order to go get something like my Bolas's Citadel. So here, feeling pretty good. I'm actually gonna be able to get underneath the Collector Oof and really get something going. So
yeah, it's a good way to sacrifice those dead artifacts on the battlefield, right? That aren't doing anything.
Yes, yeah. With Arkham, you have to sacrifice a artifact creature, and I think to go get sacrifice an artifact to go get a non-creature artifact. So unfortunately, I can't get Mirror Battlesphere here. If I could get Mirror Battlesphere, I was so willing to go that beatdown route. But Bad Kitty, setting up his own, win con through Braylon Sharks. What is that? Sky Shark Rider? I only ever hear it called Braylon. So.
For sure. Yeah. See, I don't even know the cards. So I have to look at it and read it.
Yeah, pretty. A lot of the times you just hear about Glinthorn Buccaneer and Malcolm, but and rightfully so, just because Malcolm's in the command zone, so it really is just a 1-card combo. Once you got the Glinthorn and enough mana, you're able to go. But Braylon does require some kind of curiosity, some effect like that in order to combo off. But Opposition Agent is here, and once again, the Abzen Hate Bear Reanimator showing its resilience.
Yeah, it's a good card to shut down your search effect that we were just discussing.
Now, why did you choose to do it on your turn rather than wait for me to search and then pull the card out?
Well, I would have loved to do that. I think it's just safer to do it on my turn, especially with Grand Abolisher on the battlefield.
Oh, okay. So you just wanted to ensure that these creatures got on the board rather than trying to really get an advantage over someone by stealing something?
Right, because if you're going to kill it, right, if you have a removal spell, you're going to kill it anyways as it searches, but you're also going to counter it during your turn, so there's more outlets for it not to resolve.
That's fair. Okay. I like that thought of play. It's just keeping it safe and really just shutting the board down. Here I put out Treasure Vault, which unfortunately I can't use because of the Collector Oof, so it's almost like I missed a land drop. But here I know that I have Dramatic Reversal in my hand, and if I can get Isochron Scepter, I have a Dramatic Reversal and a Fellwar Stone. So if there's any way I can start to get, use my artifacts and get the Isochron Scepter, I'm able to win the game. So here, I wanted to save this Cyclonic Rift for a big board wipe, so I can get rid of all the Hate Bears at once. But I saw this opportunity, and I wanted to get rid of the Oof first, so that way I had access to my artifacts. And now I'm able to bounce the Opposition Agent and go and search for my combo, my win. So
yeah, pretty heads-up play, right? You were able to deal with 2 hate pieces and kind of go forward with your combo.
Yes, yeah, I'm able to use Arkham here to go get the Isochron Scepter and imprint the Dramatic Reversal. And like I said, I have the Fellwar Stone in hand, so the Fellwar Stone resolves, I'll be netting 1 colored mana, and I'm able to cast Thrasios with infinite mana, draw my deck, and cast Thassa's Oracle with much protection. So that's what I attempt to do here. And the great thing about Arkham is that you're able to just put it onto the battlefield, so there's no response.
You can interact with the Fellwar Stone, right?
Yeah, you have to interact with the Fellwar Stone by countering it. And I made a mistake here that I realized rewatching this is I have enough mana for Isochron Scepter to untap all my non-land permanents, which means I'm able to untap Arkham, sacrifice the Mirror, and go and get an Arcane Signet, whichever rock, produce infinite mana, and win the game. So that was a complete punt on my end, and I didn't even see it up until I started watching the recording, so it gives me even more faith in this deck. The resiliency of just being able to do that had I have been a better player gives me hope that man, this is actually pretty good.
Yeah, it's a pretty good, like, you have to sit there and think about it for a second.
I think I just missed it. I was tunnel visioning on that win, and then once it happened, I was like, okay, now I'm just going to try to go for my value. But yeah, just being more aware. Here, Bad Kitty takes the opportunity, goes for the Dockside Extortionist now that the oof is gone, and decides to go for his own value play. And we're going to see a repeat. He gets to cast a Cyclonic Rift, except it's the good version, and it bounces everything to our hands. So.
Yeah, so that dramatic reversal, it's exile, right? So that line of play, it's non-existent anymore?
Yes, yeah, now that the dramatic reversal is exiled, I can't imprint dramatic reversal again because there's no way for me to recur it from the graveyard, so at that point, the Isochron Scepter is just a dead card in my hand unless I get something like a Vampiric Tutor, maybe, and then I can use that to search for combo pieces, but that's wishful thinking at that point, so that's a dead card.
Yeah, and I think I'm just kind of rewarding my board too, because, not having any just 5 lands, everything gets bounced, kind of pulls you back a little, put more creatures back.
Yeah, especially in a creature deck, because a lot of your mana producing sources are those creatures, and they have summoning sickness, so you're going back, 3 mana, 4 mana instead, while I get to just replay Mana Crypt and tap it for, everything that I wanted to in before. So here I see you discarded the Collector Oof. I assume you have a reanimation spell just because you're a reanimator deck, but when I saw that, I was thinking you might either have the win if you're going to get rid of the Oof, or you're just looking to get us. So
yeah, it's like very wishful thinking that I just got rid of the best card for no reason.
Yeah, I saw that. So I immediately I tapped the Mana Crypt, the artifact land, and I put down Padim. Padim here really lets me is another engine, especially whenever you get stopped in your tracks. Just because you're gonna have a lot of these big artifacts, and putting Padim down gives them hexproof and gives you card advantage for having all those artifacts on the board. So
yeah, and you'll more than likely will have the highest cost artifact.
Just right the deck things like like Mere Turbine and Mere Battlesphere, all that kind of stuff. So.
Right.
So here, Bad Kitty just electing to use Valakut Awakening, refresh his hand, Mini Wheel of Fortune, kinda, but
it's like a one-person kind of filter through his hand. You don't really get to discard it.
Yeah, he doesn't get all those Underworld Breach lines, but here, Bad Kitty goes for Talisman of Curiosity, and yeah, it looks like he's just trying to set up as well. He has Tana out, and I think a real big point of this of what allowed all of our decks to really run away is we always had a free attack target in Arch Jelly. I want to attack to recur my artifacts from the graveyard. Bad Kitty wants to attack to make treasures and saprolings so you can develop his board, and you want to attack to draw cards. So it was pretty rough to be Arch Jelly in this pod, just because all of us really needed just to hit something. So we were all inclined to hit him, even though he was the least progressed on the board.
Well, it kind of reminds me of the Ur Dragon decks, which we just always use resting as a punching back to get some triggers. It's kind of the same scenario. But yeah, here's my Reanimator spell. Victimize, sacrifice an elf, get 2 things back. Good value.
Yep, and you get the Collector Oof back, so now the Thought Vessel is turned off, the Mana Crypt's turned off, the Talisman is turned off, and
I'm dead.
Yep, and Padim coming through with the hexproof on my artifacts, so you couldn't touch anything on my board. That was great. That felt awesome. I was like, yeah. And here, I see that I have the high CMC artifact, because Silas Renn is an artifact himself, so it's pretty easy to get 3 CMC, but Arch Jelly first off taps his Thought Vessel, but he didn't end up using the Command Beacon, so he's still able to make this play. But just puts in a 1 cost more artifact to steal me out of my draw on my turn. So unfortunately, I only get my first draw. Mana Crypt, the homie coming through. You know, it's been a dead card. It's been a dead rock this whole time, so I'm glad it's at least not lightning bolting me every upkeep.
I think you've only got bolted once, and it was the first roll. Every other one, you've been saved by it.
Oh yeah, and you know there's been a Collector Roof on the battlefield for 90% of this game, so I don't feel bad at all. I feel great. And Mirrored and Besieged. Thankfully with the Cyclonic Rift, I get to bounce this back to my hand, and I get to choose the Phyrexian. I'm nowhere close to getting that win condition, but if this Thran Dynamo ever leaves the battlefield, I get a draw with Padim, and I get a draw with and discard with my Phyrexian. So right now, this Collector Roof doesn't look like it's going to go away. I'm just trying to win with Oracle Consult, and that's my thought process. So what's yours going on right now?
Well, first things first.
Oh yeah, I forgot about this.
Bad Kitty goes for the Core of Calling when I have an Agent on the battlefield. Depending on the pod, we're kind of the bridge between like super competitive and casual. So I made a deal with Bad Kitty saying that he can take it back if he didn't win that turn, because he was really excited. He was like, "I got you guys. I'm about to win here."
Yeah.
So.
And then he forgot about the Opposition Agent. Yeah, I mean, in plays like that, especially since he didn't get any extra information. I guess you know that he's a Court of Calling, but he just forgot about it on the board, and he could have just played Snapcaster Mage, done the same thing. Psych Rift the Oof back. That Oof has gotten Psych Rift like 3 times already at this point, or twice.
Oh yeah, the poor Oof and the Op Agent, the best buddies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so this was one of those. Obviously, if he flashed it in and he caught him while he was casting it, you got, and you know that was hidden information. But this was one of those ones where it's such a back-breaking play because you just go and take the win con that he needs out of the deck at this point, and it could have been avoided if he was paying attention. And you know we're all friends, so we'll let those kinds of mistakes fly. And I think you guys made an agreement that you weren't going to win, right? At least like just don't win and screw me out of this.
Yeah, like don't win the turn. This turn, I think that was the exact wording, which he honored the whole rotation because he could have just on tap. I would on tap on my turn, and he could do it. But then I have Opposition Agent back on the battlefield. So actually, no, he couldn't do it on my turn. So never mind, he couldn't do it. Yeah, at any other point.
Yeah, no, it was just one of those moments where. I mean, I did the exact same thing before too, so.
Oh yeah,
I had to follow the same line of play when I think about it, and Bad Kitty just forgot his name.
Yeah, no, I'm above the law. I'm the captain.
Another thing that we say we bridge the gap, and I do feel like a casual sometimes, especially just seeing myself throw the games like this, but. Another good thing is just tunnel visioning. As Bad Kitty I don't think he would have done that if he didn't see that the win was available and he just tunnel visions. It's really difficult to rebound from a win, especially when you've been playing it this whole time. But like I said before, those are, they're right in front of you. You don't see them. You reveal a Court of Calling of your own from Bob, so nice.
Yeah, we'll get another stacks piece, but I think my main thing is playing the Opposition Agent again to make sure we don't lose on Bad Kitty's turn, or even Archjelly, right? He can still. Oh, no, he can't do it anymore. But on Bad Kitty's turn, he would have the win. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and another thing that we're talking about mistakes, and I think this game was full of a lot of them. And here, Pernicious Deed goes on the board, and I try to Fierce Guardianship that. In hindsight, that was extremely stupid because I kind of want this thing to go off, but. I forget that he has the Grand Abolisher in play and that I can't do that, so I just retracted as fast as I could, so I don't look as stupid. He does have Tandem Lookout and Braylon on the board, and here I saw that combo was available, and Bad Kitty, I think he was around the hand size they would need. I see that Synergistic goes for the same play of playing the Opposition Agent on his turn while he has the Grand Abolisher so it doesn't get countered. And I thought he had a Slaughter Pact or like a Deadly Rollick or something to interact with this. And here, I mean, as you'll see, Archjelly really almost never got to do what he wanted to do. I think here he forgets that the Collector Oof is on the battlefield and that it got reanimated and he tries to go for a big play. but just Sadden really can't do his play. And yeah, the win's on the board, and I didn't really communicate it or recognize it.
Yeah, and I'm not very familiar as well, because we've played with Bad Kitty a bunch, and I've never seen this line of play from his deck. So
Yeah.
it took me like completely from nowhere. But as we get to it, we'll see it.
Hey, I won another Mana Crypt.
Oh my goodness gracious. MVP, Mana Crypt. Let's get a shirt.
Yeah. And also in my hand, I think right now I have a Finale of Devastation, a Fierce Guardianship, and a Thassa's Oracle.
Oof.
So when I go to end step, I discard Arkham and I draw a Demonic Consultation, and I'm just thinking like, cool. Like if he Deadly Relics this, I'm fine with the Fierce Guardianship in my hand. I'm gonna win the next game. And Bad Kitty here goes for the next turn.
Next, you'll win during your turn, not next game.
Oh yeah, during my next turn with protection up. So I was feeling pretty good, but yeah, this was just another thing where you never want to be like the person at the board who's just constantly calling out that people should do things and you know, like pressure other people.
Bro, that's what I do all the time.
Yeah, I know.
That's like my whole job.
But in situations like this, especially when there's a win on board, yeah, you should just always communicate it just to make sure. This was one of those situations where, you know, me assuming that another player knew the interaction that was about to happen is just as bad as them not knowing, me not telling them in the first place.
Can you walk through the interaction real quick?
Yes. So what happens is Braylon, equipped with a Curiosity effect like Tandem Lookout, when you go to your end step and you have over 7 cards in your hand and nothing to alter your hand size, you go to discard, and on discard, Braylon gets a trigger on the stack, which will deal 1 damage, and then you get to draw a card through the Tandem Lookout effect. So now you go back up to whatever you were before +7, and you repeat this process because you have to go to an additional cleanup step and discard. And because the trigger is always repeating, it's the same kind of, you know, it's the same similar way that you die as opposed to like the Malcolm and Glenhorn Buccaneer combo. So just a different way of getting to kind of the same loop in this deck.
Yeah, it's a good one. I didn't know it too much, but yeah, just communicating would have helped.
That was, I feel like this game, I got to see, especially looking back, I didn't pilot the deck as well as I would have liked, especially knowing that I could have won early on and I didn't communicate. I made a bunch of mistakes, but even with these mistakes, I think that this deck showed that it can get around a Collector Oof and present a win, and I'm pretty proud of it.
Yeah, and an Up Agent too. That was in the battlefield pretty early on, so
yeah, the 2 really critical hate pieces and those artifacts really help. But yeah, thank you guys for watching. It was a great game. Congrats to Bad Kitty, played it very well, and yeah, we'll see you guys later.
Stay basic, everybody.